Hello everyone, welcome back to the Midweek SPAC News and Price Update. Today is October 14th, Wednesday, so I want us to talk about 5 different SPACs that have caught my attention this week. So first, we'll talk about the 3 SPACs that are currently voting on the merger. We have SPAQ, DPHC, and FMCI. So all 3 are getting close to the merger, so now's a good time to look at the price action and see if there's anything that stands out, and if there are any news that have caught our attention. Then we'll talk about IPOB Opendoor, another SPAC that has a lot of traction right now. Well, what's going on with it? Why are people so attracted to it? And then finally, we'll close out with HYLN Hyliion, which is turning a corner right now, and as something came out yesterday that I really liked about it. So we'll get into all of that right after the intro. Please like and subscribe. You guys don't understand how much it helps, so I really appreciate it. All right, guys, so let's begin by talking about Fisker, ticker symbol SPAQ. So this is a company that's had a lot of hype in the past, and you can tell why just by looking at the picture. Look at the beautiful design for their first prototype, the Fisker Ocean SUV. This vehicle is set to be released in 2022. If they can get everything together, I'm not quite sure, because as far as I know, one of the big issues with this company, and why I consider it very speculative, is that they've had issues since the beginning with their technology platform. They were supposed to get into an agreement with Volkswagen, and as far as I know, I mean, I tried to confirm, like just making sure I didn't miss anything, but as far as I know, they still haven't announced a partnership when it comes to the technology platform. So that's one of the issues with this company. But right now, they're voting on the merger. So if you had shares by October 1st, you can actually vote on the merger, and the shareholder meeting is going to be on Wednesday, October 28th. So Henrik Fisker is very active on Twitter. You can get a lot of information from the company just following him if you guys haven't done so already. So right now he says that you can vote online using your control number or call Mauro Sodali at this number. So if you guys still have to vote, please do so, because as you guys know from FMCI, sometimes it's tough getting all the votes that they need. So the sooner you do it, the better, so that there's no delays. So what else is new? Well, right now they're really hyping up that their second prototype is almost complete, and they should be revealing that fairly soon. You have this little video here where this woman is seductively caressing the car and the Fisker logo. So they should be revealing that fairly soon, but more importantly for us as shareholders, Henrik Fisker is going to be on Mad Money from Jim Cramer fairly soon. We don't know exactly when. He had suggested this Friday, but he said that he would confirm the date on his Twitter feed. But keep that in mind. Look out for that, because even though I don't expect that he's going to really announce anything spectacular, I mean, the two of them have history here. So if you guys don't follow Jim Cramer and Mad Money, well, in the past he's been very, very negative about SPACs, saying that a lot of them are scammy. And one of his targets was SPAQ, saying that all they have is a prototype, and even went so far as to compare them with Nikola and Trevor Milton. So of course that caused a lot of drama, and it really didn't help the share price, because whether you like him or not, he has a big audience, and a lot of people have been following him for years. So one of the things that he was complaining about is that Henrik Fisker at his first company, where he was trying to do the Karma car, and that was a complete flop, and the company went bankrupt. So now he's trying again, and again, it's more like a business plan. He doesn't really have the car or the manufacturing. Like they just found someone to manufacture it, and they don't have the technology platform. So again, he really, really bashed the company. But now, after a while, he kind of went back on his word a little bit. He started to open up about the SPACs, and even though he still doesn't recommend to his viewers, he did say that Fisker is a visionary and designs great looking cars. And, so he walked back some of his comments. So that's why it's going to be very interesting to see Fisker on the show and what we can learn. Like, are they going to find common ground or not? So look out for that. That's going to be probably in the next week or two. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Probably no big announcement, but hopefully we'll learn something new about the company. And who knows, maybe it's going to attract some new shareholders and it can move the needle. So now let's talk about the price action and if this is a good time to buy this stock. So currently the shares are at 14.32. up 1.13%. And it's hard to believe, but at its peak, this stock was at 21.60. So yes, right now, I mean, the stock is down, but this is a discount of $7.28. People were bidding this stock up above $20 and investing into it. So this was a very, very brief period of time, like this little blip here, as you can see on the chart. Most of the time, this company has been in this channel between about $13 and $15. Very briefly, it went above 15, it went up to about 18, and since then, as you can see, like all the peaks and valleys, it's been trading between this channel. So if this stock goes above $15 at some point, it's going to be fairly bullish. Right now, it hasn't. It's a very, very small uptrend on fairly low volume, if you can see here, compared to when it went up to $18 and it had a lot of buying volume. Right, so right now there's almost no volume. If you look at it, it's currently 2.7 million compared to 7.4 million. So right now people aren't really buying and selling the stock as much, right? It's more stale. So is this a good buy? Well, right now there aren't really any negative catalysts or positive catalysts. I feel like the stock has more potential to move up than down, just because of the fact that they're going to be talking on Mad Money, and that might be get more eyeballs on the stock. Plus, we're getting closer to the merger, so everyone is talking about it. Now, am I seeing this as a long-term buy and hold? Absolutely not. But I do feel like this has some potential as a short-term play. What I would do is I would buy shares and I would set a very tight stop loss to it. So if it goes down, right, and I'm wrong, then I would lose a couple cents, maybe like 15, 20 cents. But if I'm right and it can go up, well, it can easily go up above 15. Who knows? Maybe back to 17, and then I can make a few $100 with it. So that's how I would be playing it. I would be selling before the merger personally if there's any ramp up. Next up, let's briefly talk about Lordstown Dphc. So this is another company like SPAQ that's voting on the merger right now. But the shares have been kind of struggling. Right now they're at 24.55, down 4%, and after hours down another 2.36%. So we'll talk about why the stock is dropping in a minute, but first, just to remind everyone that the shareholder meeting will be October 22nd, so very soon, and you have to have been a shareholder as of September 21st, 2020 to be eligible to vote. If that's your case and you haven't voted yet, please do so. They need all of the votes that they can get. Now, this stock at its peak was at 31.80. Right, so now there's a pretty good discount, and why is that? Why is it dropping? Well, the peak was at September 22nd, and since then, every time they're talking about the stimulus package, the stock goes up, and every time they talk that like it's not going to go through, the stock is going down. So it's following the economy fairly closely. However, over the past 2-3 days, if you haven't seen the million videos from all of the workhorse YouTubers, because that's all they talk about, well, Workhorse did not get the contract for USPS. The contract has been, or the announcement has been delayed, and because of that, that's been putting selling pressure on DPHC. I'm not sure exactly why. I don't think it should affect it that much, but it has been. So the theory is that Workhorse, if they got the contract, were going to give some of the manufacturing to Lordstown, which basically denies them some short-term revenue, and that's one of the reasons why the share price has been dropping. I mean, you can see a direct correlation between the announcement and the shares going down. Now, does that affect Lordstown short term? I don't think so. I mean, if you were bullish on this company in the short term, right, this has absolutely no effect on it. I mean, it's money that they're not getting, but was it priced into the stock at 31? I don't believe so. So if we go back to my pricing zones for this stock, right now it is above the warning zone. What I said was about $17 to $21. This is a second wave of buyers into the stock. The people that got into it long term. Well, right now we're still in what I call the hype zone above $21. So for me personally, I wouldn't be buying the stock right now. Even as a momentum play, I would wait until it bottoms out. I don't know exactly when that's going to be or what price, but when it does bottom out and it starts to go back up, especially if it gets under $21, that's when I would consider it a much better opportunity. So for now, I would wait a little bit. I'd wait and see where it lands because you don't know how far it's going to drop. I mean, it's been dropping 7% today. And then we have FMCI, the tattooed chef. This is what I call my beast SPAC. This is one of my favorites. The power of the cauliflower. I mean, what can you say about this SPAC? I mean, it's completely overperformed most of the other ones, and it's basically never shown weakness throughout its life cycle, which is very, very rare compared to the other ones. So right now it's sitting at 26.18, up another 4%, so full speed ahead. There hasn't been a lot of news, but I just wanted to mention it because tomorrow is the shareholder meeting, October 15th, so it is too late to vote right now, but I mean, we'll have to see the results. I don't really anticipate that there's going to be any problem. People got that scare last time, which I'm going to talk about in a second, but the only news in the past week was they announced 41 million in revenues for the third quarter, and that's a 71% increase year over year. So again, tremendous results. This company keeps showing that it's growing month after month, right, and year after year. So there's no problem there. If we look at the chart, this is what I was talking about, right, a few weeks ago when they had the vote to extend the deadline and it didn't pass. They didn't have enough votes. That created some panic and it went down as low as, I think, $15 or $16. Well, whoever picked up those shares, congratulations, you did a great deal. So right now, since then, it's rebounded very nicely, and right now it's sitting at 26.18. So what do I think is going to happen with this stock? Well, honestly, even though I'm super bullish about it and there's really nothing negative to say about this company, I do expect that there's going to be a pullback probably in the $18 to $20 range, right? After the merger, there's always going to be some people who are going to take some profits, move on to other SPACs, and then we'll get closer to when the warrants can be exercised. So you can expect that the price is probably going to pull back a little bit, but because they show such great earnings every couple months, I mean, it's just going to be temporary. So for me personally, I wouldn't buy shares right now at $26, but if it does go below 20, I'm definitely going to be looking at this stock again because I think it has a great future. Next up, we've got IPOB Opendoor. To me, this is the surprise of the week. I mean, this stock has incredible momentum, up another 10% right now, and this is turning out to be the event SPAC of the fourth quarter. Now, when I did my review of the company, I mentioned that I'm not a big fan of the business model because the business model is fix and flipping, and that is very low margin and very difficult to scale throughout the country. However, at the same time, this is a company that they completely engineered by Wall Street for Wall Street, and they're kind of designed to attract big institutional investors. I mean, I have to give credit to Chamath for this one. The marketing is impeccable, and because of that, they're getting massive investments. So currently, it's at 26.48, right? And ARK Invest, Kathy Wood's fund, has been buying a big position in IPOB, and at the same time, they've been selling off Zillow. Well, Zillow has a $21 billion valuation, and if I recall correctly, you guys can correct me, but when I made the review, I believe the IPOB had a $5 billion valuation. So again, like the two, you can expect that IPOB is going to go up because Zillow is a good comparable for it. So she's been buying up this position, right? And as soon as this was announced, that as soon as people started to notice, I mean, you can see the kind of progression that the stock has had because this gives a lot of confidence for investors to plunge into the stock. But you guys know I'm the Debbie Downer. I'm not going to change. When I see a chart like this, I'm worried. I mean, this is not a natural progression. This was a healthy natural progression. You know, go up a little bit, plateau, stabilize, go down a little bit, then go up, but not go up straight like that with no pause. So this is not sustainable. I mean, we've seen it with Hyliion. We've seen it a lot with the other hype stocks. It just cannot be sustained long term. So eventually, this is going to be a lot of hype, and eventually it's going to start coming down. But what I did want to point out was that $18, 18.25 seems to be one of the big support, and that's going to be a very good price point for that stock if it ever goes back down. So personally, I did not buy a position in this one. I did not think it was going to go up this quickly, so I kind of missed the boat on this one, right? As I mentioned before, right, I'm not always right. I'm very often wrong, but it's just about minimizing your losses and maximizing your gains. So again, same as the other ones, I would not buy a position here, but this is a stock you probably want to have on your watch list, and eventually over time, if it does drop down, it might be a good time to open up a position. And then in the close, let's talk about Hyliion. For those of you that have suffered through weeks and weeks of the stock losing money every single day, well, it looks like it might have finally bottomed out. This is what we were waiting for. I thought it was going to be in the low 30s, but actually it went below 30. So right now it's at 29.14, up 10%. In the previous video, I mentioned that if they were able to hold the support between 26 and 27, this is from weeks and weeks ago, right? Let's see. This is from August 24th period, right? If they were able to hold that support, that would really, really help the stock rebound. And that's what happened yesterday, right? It hit a low of 26, and then after that, it kind of rebounded slowly. Helped in great part with JMac. If you guys haven't seen the interview, I strongly encourage you to go watch it. I'm going to link it in the description. Great interview, great interviewer. JMac always does a great job. He even took off his cap. But anyway, so I won't quote the entire video, but the one thing that stood out is that Thomas Ely mentions that since the merger, right, before that, they had to contact the companies and the other fleets to try to sell their products. Well, ever since the merger and the entire like SPAC process, well, now they're seen as a real company, and now other companies are calling them to inquire about the product. So the SPAC has really helped them with their branding, and they have a lot of deals in the pipeline, which of course he couldn't reveal in the interview, but we can expect that over the next few months they're going to be talking about them, and that's really going to help the stock. So again, congratulations to JMac, great interview. You guys should go watch it. If we go back to the stock price though, as you can see right now, it's in a little uptrend, but it's way too early to celebrate and claim victory, right? Because there's very, very high possibility that it's going to go back down again as we get closer to when the warrants can be exercised, which is going to be later this month. So as you guys know, if the stock is above $18, the company can force you to redeem your shares, and that, when the warrants are converted into shares, usually creates some selling pressure. Now, we're going to get back to $26. I hope not, but it's very hard to tell. But again, this was a support that held. That's very good sign. You can see that if you look at it, it's kind of rounding up the bottom. That's what I always talk about. You guys know this, right? I mention this often. This is what it looks like when it rounds the bottom. And that's when this is the ideal time to buy. So again, because we're getting close to the merger, I would be skeptical, right? I don't know if I'd be buying more shares right now, but you can definitively do a short-term momentum play when it behaves like this. I mean, this is exactly the definition of when you want to do a short-term momentum play. As you can see on MACD, right, it goes straight up after that. So again, this is an option if you guys want to try that, right? Remember, this is not financial advice. I'm just giving you various strategies and talking about my experience and what I think. But again, it's not financial advice. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Great news for Hyliion. Great news for a lot of these SPACs. I'll see you guys in the next video. I have to do a review. I'm debating between SOAC and PIC. So you guys can tell me in the comments if there's one that you prefer over the other ones. Usually there's not a lot of people that watch until the end like this. So your comments are going to be very appreciated, and I'll take them into consideration. So I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much.